Good morning, everyone. Lovely to see so many of you here. We were just commenting that it doesn't feel like a year since we got together down at the M Shed for the JGI showcase last year. It's amazing how these 12 months have flown past. And to see some familiar faces, but also a lot of people that I have not met before, so welcome. Wonderful that we're able to reach out to you in this way. My name is Kate Robson Brown. I'm director of the Jean Golding Institute, which is the University of Bristol Institute for Data Science and AI. And together with the University of the West of England, we're really delighted to be able to put on this event for you today. I'm just going to speak for a few minutes, do a little bit of housekeeping, get you prepped for the day, and then we're going to have a bit of break for coffee and networking before the first talks begin at 11. We are day 4, in fact, of Bristol Data Week. This is an annual festival, celebration of all things data science and AI, which the Jean Golding Institute has been hosting for the university and the city for the past 6 years. I think this is the 6th one. It's always an enormous pleasure to be able to include within Data Week events like this, which reach out into the city, and we're delighted that you could join us here today. The University Research Institutes are a really important part of the research landscape of the University of Bristol. We are constituted outside of the faculty structures, which means that we can be a space where new and exciting and maybe a little more risky, maybe a little more edgy research can happen as a trial, as a new way of building multidisciplinary relationships, and as a new way of networking with external partners. We are topic focused, so the JGI, as I said, is data science and AI, but there are others, for example, Elizabeth Blackwell on health, Cabot on environment and climate, and so forth. So together there's a real synergy there. We work together as well on some initiatives. And we have different kinds of mechanisms for engaging. So we have a modest amount of funding that we can give out to staff members and their networks just to get things going. We also work hard to raise the profile of the university and promote the work that the researchers do locally, nationally, and internationally. And we contribute to the enrichment of the student experience as well, both undergraduates. So, for example, the JGI has a number of widening participation internships. I think we have 4 students joining us in the summer for a 6-week placement on data science and AI. And of course, we also contribute to postgraduate student experience. And to give you another example, the JGI has a team of paid interns, we call them the Ask JGI team, who help us to manage our triage for queries about data science to the JGI. And sometimes there are opportunities for those individuals to go on to fellowships or other kinds of engagement with the JGI after the end of their time, after the end of their year as an Ask JGI member. We are unique, though, amongst the University Research Institutes in having the privilege to be named after a current member of staff, and that is Jean Golding. For those of you who are not familiar with her work, she's a mathematician, epidemiologist who was the founder of the Children of the 90s projects, and for all I know, there may be some children of the 90s in this room. It's amazing how it's become a kind of a glue that brings our communities together. Also known as the ALSPAC cohort study, this is a really important longitudinal study which started with 14,000 pregnant mothers back in the 90s, has now developed into the Children of the 90s project, and I think I'm right in saying even now, the children of the children of the children of the 90s. So it goes from strength to strength. Jean still works in the university, and we have lots of engagements with her. We are also the portal for the University of Bristol engagement with the Alan Turing Institute, the National Institute for Data Science and AI. The Turing has a university membership network which allows participation from universities with excellence in data science and AI all over the UK, and a number of different schemes which act as mechanisms for that engagement. So, for example, fellowships, funding for network events like this. And in fact, we're very grateful to the Turing for having provided the funding to help us run this event today. So thank you very much. I know there's a couple of people in the room. I can see a couple at the back. Thank you very much for your support, and thank you for joining us today from London. It's great to see you. The JGI actually has 4 areas of focus. These are our priority strategy areas you can see here on the slide on the left. And they are kind of raising the visibility and supporting the development of data-driven solutions to societal challenges, data governance and reproducibility. And this includes ethics and consent and some of the thorny, interesting issues around data hazard and risk. Data science, AI, fundamental research, this is the foundational work that is essential to allow us to drive forward these disciplines. So at Bristol, normally found, for example, within mathematics, engineering mathematics, computer science and related disciplines. And we have a fourth thread, which is around data visualization and materiality. And that title kind of makes it sound like graphs on a page. It's not about that. It's about the communication of our findings of data science in order to disseminate our work and drive public discourse, but also as a kind of positive feedback network to improve the science that we do. If we're not able to communicate, we may as well not have done it in the first place. And so, for example, through this theme, we have been developing programs to engage with schools, and I'm speaking at 11 with James Thomas, my colleague from the JGI, about a particular project that we're running with Cheltenham Festivals and Cyber First to develop bite-sized teaching materials for schools in data science for year 9 and 10. But we also have a Beauty of Data competition. On the ground floor today, you can see an art exhibition of some of the recent winners from those competitions, and many other ways to try and get people to think about data visualization, communication, data art, and data journalism as a really fundamental part of what we do. And there's another important thing about that element, because it allows people with different kinds of backgrounds, not necessarily computer science or data science, really to take part in the data conversation. So we want artists involved, we want social scientists involved, and this is one of the ways at JGI that we're able to do that. You're all here, so you've seen this interactive before, and it looks very small on this screen, but you can see we're in day 4, and we've had often, most days, quite a lot of parallel events. This is partly because we have both training events and research-focused events and engagement events. At the beginning of the week, many of you in the room, I recognize a couple of faces, have been coming to our entry-level programming courses. Towards the end of the week, you may be looking at some of our more advanced data visualization courses. We've had workshops and seminars, and I can flag another one that might interest you guys who are here today. Tomorrow morning, we have our international partners speaking about their work. The JGI has 2 strategic international partners, from Japan, the Institute of Statistical Mathematics, and from Kenya, the Strathmore University Data Center within the business school in Nairobi. Speakers from both of those great institutions are coming to tell us a little bit more about the fundamental work that they do nationally, and we're using that as an opportunity to help to build those networks and build a bridge with those international communities in data science. None of this would be possible without our supporters throughout the week, and thank you all for everything that you've done to make Bristol Data Week such a enjoyable and straightforward and collaborative and co-creative space. That's all from me. Please do keep in touch with us after this. There are lots of ways to do that. We're very active on social media, but if all you do is sign up to our mailing list, then that would be great, because you'll be able to find out straight away what kind of activities we have on the horizon, what sort of funding opportunities there might be for us, for you and us to work together in the future. And I should also say that we are genuinely keen on your feedback. Please do give us some feedback on this event. And also, if you have ideas, where do you think the gaps are in our provision? What kind of conversations would you like to have around these issues? What might we be able to put on next year for you and for the communities you represent? And also, if you have an idea for something that you'd like to run with our support, let us know, because we also do provide that kind of support for staff and networks and civic partners as well through the JGI. So please do fill out the form, let us know, and we hope we'll be working with some more of you in the future. I'm now going to hand over to the Deputy Vice-Chancellor from the University of Bristol, who's just going to say a few words about the university and how we see this kind of event fitting into the wider and exciting activities the university is undertaking. Over to you, Judith.